Alright, what's going on, people? Ring World Maps here. Today we're gonna talk about the first fight between Teraji and Yabuki. And this is gonna be the first one. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it kind of exposed some of the weaknesses of Teraji's style and movement. However, I have gotten some inside info that he wasn't in the best condition for this fight, so that might have played a factor, or that might have played a part in the result. However, it did show some of the technical weaknesses of Teraji that he ought to fix soon, okay? So we're gonna talk about that today. The first one we're gonna see with Yabuki. And again, I do some of these moves myself, and so I know exactly how it works, and it worked against Teraji. You're gonna see it here. So the first one is going to be a right hand into a jab slash an overhand into a jab, into a gazelle jab. Now, if you look at Teraji's style right here, his typical way of defending himself is he likes to gallop back. So if you throw something like an overhand into a jab, okay, as you see here, what's gonna happen is that your gazelle step will be ahead of his gallop, okay, his backward gallop. So I kind of want to give you guys this comparison, or this relationship between the backward gallop and the gazelle step. If you do the gazelle step earlier, then the backward gallop isn't going to be effective. They're not going to be able to move away on time. So what ends up happening is they're going to get hit. So as you can see here, he's moving back. He tries to change the angle, but Yabuki did a pretty good job here of following up the initial gazelle step with the right hand, or with a right hook, and then he catches Teraji right there on his way out to the ropes. Here's another example. He's gonna throw a straight right hand, this time to the left side of the face of Teraji, and then he's gonna throw a jab. Again, this gazelle step is gonna beat the backward gallop of Teraji. So as you can see there, Teraji tried to pull off a backward gallop, however, it was a little too late because the gazelle step came first. And this is what I want to tell you guys: if you have somebody who's very mobile on their feet and who likes to gallop backwards a lot, like Lomachenko, or if you look at, what's his name again, Akhmadaliev, same thing, right? They like to gallop backwards. The best way to actually deal with that foot speed is by using a forward gazelle step in order to catch up to them and in order to catch them off guard. Here's another one, alright? He's gonna throw another right hand. Again, here, Teraji thought it was going to be a jab, so he stretched this right hand out, and then he tried to gallop backwards. However, Yabuki went to the spot first because the gazelle step beat the backward gallop, okay? So that's one flaw that I see with Teraji. He likes to gallop backwards a whole lot instead of just taking a tiny step back. At times you don't really need to gallop backwards, but Teraji does it all the time, and it is kind of a flaw in his technique. I think he should practice just taking tiny step backs. You know, it's not necessary to gallop backwards all the time. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Yabuki throwing the gazelle jab in itself. So what you're going to see here is he's going to drop his upper body, which we're going to talk about later on. He's going to drop his upper body. He's going to throw this gazelle jab in a low position. And as you can see, that gazelle step is going to beat the backward gallop on the spot. However, Yabuki was just a little too far here, so he wasn't able to land that gazelle jab, okay? So lucky for Teraji there, he was able to gallop back, boom, and he was able to make Yabuki miss on that jab. Okay, so here, same thing is going to occur. It's going to be a gazelle jab once again. From a low position, he drops his upper body, and then he throws this jab upwards. And then there, let's see if that landed. I don't think it landed though. Yeah, it didn't land because the gazelle step wasn't big enough. So you also want to play, or you also want to take you want to also take that into consideration, okay? You also need to make the gazelle step big enough so that it can cover enough distance and so that it can land. Next thing now is going to be timing the lateral movement. As you can see here, by moving laterally all the time, you can kind of figure out the movement of Teraji. And so I think this is the wrong timestamp. Yes, it is. So now we're going to skip ahead and we're going to do the jab counter. So one thing that Yabuki did a really good, or one part of Yabuki's strategy which really worked here is going to be the jab counter. So what you're going to see is that whenever Teraji threw his jab, Yabuki would throw his own jab right away. And I'm not really sure about the tail of the tape here. I think Yabuki might have been longer than Teraji, but yeah, it kind of looks like he's a little longer. So it's a really intelligent strategy to jab. Even though Teraji might have the better jab among the two, I think Yabuki looks longer than him. So it's a really intelligent strategy to go with this. Whenever Teraji would throw the jab, Yabuki would throw his own jab right away. So here again, Teraji will throw a jab, and then Yabuki would throw his own right away. Boom. Really smart move. It looks like he's a longer man, however, I'm gonna have to look at the detail of the tape to know exactly if it's true, okay? So that's another weakness of Teraji's style, alright? Whenever he throws a jab, he keeps his head relatively on the same place, and if he faces a longer fighter, he's gonna be hit before he even lands his own jab, okay? And then another thing is that he doesn't really step in with his jab. He throws it like a flick. And again, that's good if you're facing the same length or the same fighter with the same length. However, if you're facing a longer fighter, you're gonna have to learn how to step in and how to cut the distance. So that's another thing that he might want to work on. So here's the next one. It's going to be an overhand over the top. A while ago we talked about a gazelle step or a right hand into a gazelle step. So let's see how he does the overhand here now. He leads with the overhand. Okay, so let's see. So there what he does there is actually a 2-1 and not an overhand. So let's look at that once again. 2 into a 1, alright? So that's another example of the 2-1 that we talked about a while ago. Now here's the actual overhand, okay? And again, what you're gonna see with Teraji, whenever he throws a jab, what happens is he turns his upper body to the right side. He turns it into a blade. And what happens with that is that whenever he gets caught with an overhand right, he tends to, what? He tends to turn his back on his opponent, almost, okay? And he doesn't really have the shoulder roll, so there's really nothing there to save him. Okay, so as you can see here, he turns his head away from his opponent, trying to roll with a punch. However, the problem is Yabuki here looked like he was the longer fighter, and he was able to reach much further than most of Teraji's opponents. And so he got caught with this overhand right. So here again, you're gonna see that same flaw or that same mistake by Teraji. He's gonna throw a jab, and then he's gonna turn his upper body into a blade when the overhand right comes. And the problem with this is that if you don't have the shoulder roll, this is really a bad move to try and pull off, because there's really nothing that will protect your head from this position, okay? You might decrease the damage by rolling away from the punch, but if your opponent can reach you, there's really no point. So next thing now is gonna be the up jab, which I think really worked because it gave Teraji a different look, okay? If you just throw the jab from shoulder level, from the same height, it's a lot easier to see. But if you throw it from the waist, as you can see Yabuki doing here, great jab by Yabuki, by the way. I'm not sure if he's known for his jab. I haven't watched too much of him. But he has a pretty fast jab too. So as you can see, instead of throwing it from shoulder level, he's going to drop his upper body, alright? And then he's going to throw it from a low position. And it really was effective against Teraji. It might be because Teraji doesn't see those shots coming, or he sees shots coming better from a higher position. If you throw it from the waist, it's a little bit harder. So now it's gonna be the same thing here. He's gonna lower his body again, okay? Boom, and then it's gonna throw it from his waist. Boom, like an uppercut. And as you can see there, Teraji kind of takes a little longer to react to it compared to when his opponent just throws a jab from a high guard, okay? So he's gonna drop this glove once again, and then he's gonna throw it upwards. Boom, okay? And as you can see there, Teraji gets pushed on the back foot, and his head snaps back really quickly. So now it's gonna be the right hand on the lean. Again, what you see with Teraji a whole lot is that whenever his opponent tries to counter him with the right hand, he's gonna put all that weight on the back foot, okay? He's gonna lean all the way back. And the problem with this is that if you lean all the way back, you don't really give yourself much balance left in order to step back on time. So as you can see, he's gonna get caught right here with the right hand on that blade, boom, okay? And because all his weight is on his back foot, you're not giving yourself enough balance in order to step back. And as you can see there, the only time that he was able to step back on balance is when he went back on his original stance where his weight is neutral. It's not too much on the back foot. So let's see some more angles, or let's see some more examples of that. He's gonna throw another, or Yabuki is gonna throw a jab or a overhand right there, and then he gets on the back foot. Okay, so let's keep the sequence going because I think there's another overhand that's about to come. So let's see, he's gonna jab here, or I don't think there's any overhand anymore here. Yeah, there's no overhand anymore. Let's see this next example. Okay, right hand on the lean. So as you can see, Boom, another habit that we already talked about a while ago is turning into a blade whenever his opponent counters with the right hand. And what happens there is that he puts all his weight on the back foot there. When you put all your weight on the back foot, you don't have enough room to step back, or you don't have enough balance in your legs to step back. So as you can see there, he gets pushed back on the back foot once again, and watch how his feet gets all messed up. It's because he gets pushed back on the back foot and he puts all his weight on that. So now his opponent is throwing some gazelles. Perfect strategy here by Yabuki, because he knows that Teraji has a really good galloping package, and he knows how to step back, he knows how to move away. So he chases him by using those gazelle steps. A very intelligent move here. So here's another one, alright? He's gonna get caught with some right hooks here. Again, puts all his weight on the back foot, and then he's gonna get caught with the right hand right there on the lean backwards, and boom, again another right hand. But this time he wasn't pushed on the back foot, so a pretty smart strategy there by Teraji not to lean all the way back with his upper body. But there he did lean back on his upper body. Again, there he did lean back, turn his body into a blade. Okay, and let's see if he gets caught with another right hand. Boom, another right hand. This time he wasn't pushed as back. He wasn't pushed back as much on the back foot. So now he's on the front foot, right? This is the great thing to do. However, he realized this a little bit too late. So that's why he wasn't able to adjust on time. Alright, so now let's look at the knockout here. I've already outlined some of the weaknesses of Teraji's style. Hopefully you guys learn from it. So now, again, boom, he's turning into a blade. I think he's tired here, or he was absolutely hurt. He gets caught right there, 1, 2, 3, and then I think he's gonna get caught with a body shot here. Boom, left uppercut to the body. And then as you can see here, he's trying to move back. He turns into a blade. What does that do? Opens up his face for the right hand. Okay, boom, right hand right there. Alright, and his weight is on the back foot now, so there's really no balance here. Now his legs are gone, and he's gonna get stopped soon, man. Uppercuts to the body here. He's not really seeing anymore. He's just throwing by instincts. Boom. Good stoppage by the referee, in my opinion. A lot of people argue that it was a bad stoppage, but I think it was a good one. So that was it. Hopefully, you guys can learn something from this. If you're doing the same habits, you have to fix them now. And again, Teraji is a really good fighter, alright? This is just a video to point out some of the weaknesses or some of the flaws in his technique that, you know, maybe he can remove in the future. And yeah, he kicked Yabuki's ass in the second fight, so all props to him. However, for this fight, Yabuki brought a really good game plan, and it also happened that Teraji was out of condition, so that might have played a major part. So that was it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'm gonna upload this on YouTube, and then the Teraji vs. Yabuki film study will be on Patreon. So if you guys want to check that out, feel free to join the Patreon. You can message me directly there also if you have, questions about your own boxing style. And I'm gonna see you guys soon. Peace out.